today's social climate, the word billionaire has gotten a negative connotation, and I'm wondering if there are any good billionaires out there. Let's find out.
This is United Aholes, a video cast discussing cultural topics with no filter.
So, billionaires, huh?
Yeah, well, going through YouTube videos, you'll see the social justice warriors out there, and billionaire has become a negative connotation. It's a bad word. And I get it. You get these people that are out to make money, become billionaires. They do what they had to do to make that money. They didn't care about anybody else. You hear stories about the companies that make $4 billion in profit and lay off 1,000 workers in the same year. There's no need for it. They just want more. The greed is there. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the billionaires that got there because they did what they loved. It worked out because society wanted what they wanted. And of course, it's going to make you money. And now they're trying to do something good with it. And I came on this topic because I was reading Reddit, and it just so happened that there was two posts, one right above the other. First post was Elon Musk releases all Tesla patents.
Yes.
To help save the earth.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was. I just read it last week, but yeah.
But that he, because I read that a few years ago, that he, so anybody that wants to build electric cars, like this is how we're improving things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's back in the news for some reason. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, he may have released, there may have been more that he released.
And the second article was Bill and Melinda Gates plan to leave $10 million each to their children, and the rest of their $80 billion fortune they're giving away to charity. So when I first read this, I'm thinking, okay, this is a great discussion for you guys. Who's the better billionaire? The guy that...
No, it's not. That is not the first thing you thought. The first thing you thought was, how can I create
a charity
to get under United Assholes and then get some money from Bill Gates? Because that's the first thing I fucking thought.
No, actually, I thought...
Welcome to United Assholes.
I don't like he's a billionaire.
Sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
It's this podcast. Anyway, the original idea was, who's a better billionaire? The guy that says he's going to give away everything he has, but at a later date. Or the guy that says, here's something that could make me tons of money, I'm giving it away now. The potential versus the actual.
Well, I mean, if you look at Elon's theology behind it, one of the interviews I watched years ago, I can't remember, I think it was CNN or one of the news channels did an interview, a one-on-one with him at a table in a cafe. I mean, it was obviously set up so that there was no outsiders bothering them. They didn't have a lot of background noise, but it was a one-on-one conversation. And Elon's comment when asked, are you crazy? You're giving away all this technology and work that you built without making the money off of it? And he's like, imagine that we're both on a sinking ship and I've designed a better bucket. Don't you think I would tell you how to get a better bucket so we can both bail water faster? Mm-hmm. His intent is legitimately, I believe, pure. I don't think he is
I do too.
malicious in any way. I don't think he's after the money. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's after money to the point that he knows what his plans are and what it's going to cost to achieve those plans. And that's why he continues to generate revenue to fuel.
You need to bankroll your
next project. I mean, he rolled Tesla to be able to build SpaceX. He's now utilizing SpaceX as a business to generate the Boring Company. And he keeps going and digging. And I mean, even the internet, the technology thing, and his reasoning behind that one was very cool because he wants to give internet to the whole world through the non-geosynchronous orbiting satellites. So basically the reverse of how a cell tower works now. Your device stays stationary and the cell tower moves is what the logic is behind that.
Okay.
So you have a bunch of close orbit satellites that relay internet much like a cell phone tower system would.
Nice.
And his logic was there could be the smartest people in the world living in a spot where there's no technology currently, so that you enable them.
The cure for cancer could be in a village in Africa.
Right, yeah. So you enable everyone to be able to communicate and get their ideas out there faster and better, and therefore solving more of the world's problems in a quicker way. And that was his intent behind that. Again, I think it's brilliant. I'm a bit of a fanboy of Elon in a way. I mean, I think he's pretty decent for what he's doing. I don't think he's got a product that I want to buy yet.
I would like an electric car.
So
I would like one, but I don't think they fit in this environment, in this climate just yet. They're almost.
I think they're close, yeah.
They're almost, but they're still
my
not
next
quite
purchase, when I trade up the vehicle I have now, I'm going electric.
I looked for an electric truck before I bought my last one. They're just not there yet either.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I'm going to go one step further. I want solar panels on my garage and a bank of batteries. I want to charge my electric car with nothing but the sun. And I've talked to a company in St. John who
that
said,
can be done now. No problem.
he said there's no problem with it as long as you have the proper, like your property. They said, when you're ready, send us your address. We'll go to Google Maps, look at it, make sure that everything can be done properly. And yeah, as long as the amperage and everything is set up properly, yes.
You'd be doing basically a Tesla power wall.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Solar City Tesla panels and a Tesla car.
Yep.
That's I mean they are doing this already as a package
Yeah.
you can buy. And I've read some articles and watched some YouTube videos around that. It's a thing. It's pretty impressive what they can do. Yeah.
They have the actual solar roof now. It looks like actual roofing. It's not solar panels
Yes,
you put on a
I've
roof.
seen that.
It's a little bit more
You
expensive.
wouldn't know
but
driving by, yeah.
It's funny that we're talking about this right now because earlier today I saw one of those clickbait things that said, this is what happens to an electric car in cold weather. I didn't click on it, but I did actually see that headline.
battery power to run the heater to warm up.
Mm-hmm. And it has to use power to keep the batteries in a cyclical state, right? There is a warming factor. It's about a 30% loss in wintertime here.
Yeah.
But that's, again, the winter. And if you're going to buy something like that, you got to prepare for that reduced range. I mean, that's just part of ownership. But I would argue the same thing to anyone with a gas vehicle.
Yeah, I start my vehicle early.
Because
Burns more
in
gas.
the summertime, my Civic is about 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers. In the wintertime, it averages 9 to 10 because of idling.
I went from 13 to 19
There you
liters per 100 kilometers.
I drive a Jeep. I do not start mine to warm it up.
There's no point.
And I don't have a vehicle. So,
But-
Bill or Elon, if you're watching this,
That's awesome.
Send
How
us a
about you
car.
buy-
We'll
I
review it
thought
for
like
you.
any car, yeah.
I thought you were just going to go on the philanthropist antics of like, well, I'm saving the planet more than you guys because I don't even own one of those terrible things.
That's true.
You could spin that and get all the
2
green,
feet in a heartbeat.
all the green lovers.
That's right.
If you want to reduce your carbon footprint, don't have kids.
I'm too far gone for that.
So again, Ken is still the best
Yeah, it doesn't even have a
environmentalist.
Makes even better
in
than
the
you.
room. Yeah, that's right, because I have a vehicle.
Yeah, you get a big gas
I do.
guzzling truck. So
The
you
knuckle children.
But I'm still
can?
better than you guys because I have no kids.
No, they don't cost any impact on the environment
that you know
whatsoever.
of.
Oh, okay.
Sure. I claim no kids.
Okay,
They actually did to go to the Jeep thing just for a second.
Yeah.
They actually took a Jeep apart and did make one battery. It was in a magazine, Jeep magazine I get. And of course, there's a lot of people out there that are like, what? No, you can't do that to a Jeep, until somebody goes, yeah, well, the torque is immediate.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's
it
coming.
makes rock climbing a lot easier, doesn't it? When you don't have to rev an engine all the way up.
Exactly. So it's coming.
Oh, I want to
It's
go on one more
electric
tangent.
motorbike.
I do want to go on one more tangent.
Zero is the name of the company.
Yeah.
You can
Zero.
get- it's a motorcycle. It's an electric motorcycle.
One more tangent. I'm going to start out there, even though this is not the episode to do it in, because we're talking about billionaires still, but seems though we're on the EV concept. I watched a really good video, and if I can find it, I'll link it in the comments.
How many shitty ones did you have to
A
watch?
lot. Wrong episode. Go back one.
Good question.
So the video I watched was a guy saying our fuel cells, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, a stupid idea. And he did the comparison of electric vehicle versus hydrogen fuel cell. And yeah, it's nowhere near as efficient and blah, 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 blah. But then when he got done, he said, this is the wrong comparison. This is where the world loses their minds. Everyone starts going, no, EVs are better. No, fuel cells are better. And he said, we're having this big fight over here over two green technologies that are both 10 times more efficient and 10 times better for the environment than the gas car. So now let's compare the standard gasoline vehicle to a fuel cell vehicle. And he said, I think both should be valid options. And his statement was northern climates, specifically Canada, Russia, Ukraine, places that have snow and winter continually, fuel cells make way more sense because it's a lifestyle we're already accustomed to with the fuel delivery system, it being on demand, short fill up times, etc. So anyway, throw that out there. So back to the billionaire thing. I think unanimously think Elon's pretty good.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So now what do we think of the Bill and Melinda Gates thing?
Are you guys familiar with what else he does? Because he does a lot of
He does a lot.
charity work.
Yeah, he
with
does.
disease and
I've watched a lot about it, but at the same time, I'm uncertain about what the angle is. Really, you know what I mean? Maybe it is legit. Maybe it's just flat out legit.
I think he's just trying to make up for the fact that, you know, when the day comes where he's accountable, he can say, yeah, I might have actually done a few not so good things in order to start this ball rolling for my means of money, but look what I've done since I've gotten it. I've done all this wonderful good stuff or whatever.
So redeeming values.
Yeah.
I got to
Do you
hear.
I think he's on a
feels guilty
redemption
for
train.
how he made his money? Because I don't think he does.
No.
No?
I would
think
question
so.
whether he should feel guilty for making the money he made.
Yes. Good question.
I think
I don't.
he revolutionized the whole industry, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
He had a passion. He worked his passion, and it made him money.
yeah.
He didn't step out there and say, "How can I make $1 billion this year by laying off 1,000 workers?"
Yeah.
He says, "Here's what I want. I'm going to make it a product and let everybody buy it," and everybody wanted it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, clear.
And not to mention the careers he's generated for all kinds of people, myself included.
Yeah.
Without Windows, there would be, well, I shouldn't say it wouldn't be any, but the
There
IT industry
would be
would be a
something.
vastly different landscape, and the internet technology wouldn't be where it is. Like, there's so many things that technically
we wouldn't
Microsoft
have.
forefronted. Even if there were other companies doing it, I don't think they could have. Well, it's hard to know. You'd have to rewind time and play it again with a different variable, but we can't do that. No simulation. Maybe Microsoft has the software for that somewhere.
I think they.
Or Elon does. But anyhow, so those two.
We are the simulation, didn't you know?
Wait. So from a completely conspiracy theorist point of view, they do have the software and they put it together and they started the simulation and it showed that there was a much better solution than what we have now. And they went, we can't keep this around. Get rid of that.
Yeah, they're all
Okay, so
good.
those two we agree
You can
are
have a
pretty
good
good.
second quarter this year as long as I get the fourth quarter next year.
Okay, so let's go the other angle then, and I'll spin one to you and tell me if he's done anything good that you're aware of, because I have never heard anything. I've heard him spending a lot of money on some silly things, but Mr. Bezos of Amazon. What, I mean, you hear nothing but negative things about the conditions the employees are in.
Yeah.
You see the level that they use publicly serviced systems such as highways and delivery systems and everything else for their gain. Mm-hmm. They leverage places that don't have taxes. They leverage all kinds of stuff. And the only thing I've ever seen him spend money on is he tends to want to go have dive teams pull up wrecks out of the ocean and rocket bodies out of the ocean for historic purposes. That's the only thing I've ever read that he's done.
So he's a billionaire collector.
Well, he's a billionaire
We
now,
know
but isn't he going to
collector,
go
but we
through a
don't know yet.
divorce?
We're going to have that discussion about collectors. Stay tuned.
So yeah, so
Teaser.
I don't feel
Stop
that
it.
Bezos is on the same level as Musk and the Gates. I really don't feel it.
No.
Okay. Devil's advocate. We don't feel it because we've not got all the information. I don't. Okay. Up until like 2 years ago, I hadn't even heard the guy's name. If you said who owned Amazon, I went, look, some guy's last name's Amazon. I don't know. I didn't know who Jeff Bezos was. Now that's just me as a single sample. I've heard about Bill and Melinda Gates and Tesla dude.
Well, you heard about Bezos because of his
Like-
war with Trump, basically.
Right, exactly. So what has he done that his detractors are not going to talk about? Is there something there? You would think he'd be tooting his own horn, would be the only thing. Oh, yeah? Well, I cured measles.
He's number
You know.
one. That's what he's done.
Yeah.
That's been his. I mean, maybe not, but it seems
Yeah,
to be.
Did
his
he get there because he wanted to be a billionaire? Or did he get there because he did the right thing at the right time with the right product?
Was his passion to start an online marketplace really? And then what's the point in starting a marketplace is to make money.
Right.
And that's the difference I think that we're pointing out.
But did
Elon
he-
wanted to save the planet.
Yeah.
Bill and Melinda wanted to build software. Bill did. I think Bezos wanted to start a store to make money.
Right.
So he started the world's biggest.
Did he
And
not-
he's treating his workers that way.
Did he not start? Is this the truth? That he started in his garage?
Yes. There's a
with-
picture
with
from
books?
1998.
That's how he got started.
1998, and he had a hand-drawn sign that said Amazon.com stuck on the wall behind him, sitting behind a desk that was basically one of those steel crap
And it
desks.
was
that you-
just books.
and that he was just doing books from his garage. Don't get me wrong, the guy's a brilliant entrepreneur.
I was gonna
and he's
say-
hired some very brilliant people to design the rest of the business because
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that he knows all the warehousing logistics of how Amazon works today. He's a CEO. Why
Just
would he?
Give me the
Yeah.
money.
Right. But he bankrolled and knew that to pick the right people to build the right industry to do all the thing. I don't know. Maybe his passion was to change and build e-commerce in the way that we know. And don't get me wrong, I use his service.
We all
a
use
lot.
Amazon, I think.
And it
Yeah.
as a consumer, it is a decent thing. I won't kick it. I've had even the bad experiences I've had of getting a product delivered improperly or some shipping damage or a problem with it where it doesn't work. I've had no issues getting it resolved ever. Like to the point where like, yeah, don't worry about shipping it back. We're just going to ship you another one, kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're disputing whether
The
he
quality
should
of
or
the
not
company.
be a billionaire. He is for obvious reasons.
Right.
The question is he a good billionaire or a bad billionaire? And right now,
It's
I'm on the
leaning-
fence, leaning towards
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, same here. Same
But-
He did it for the greed.
His story's not written yet either.
No, it's true. It's
No,
not
You know
over.
what I mean?
No,
No,
he's
but he's
going
had
through
the
divorce
opportunity
right now,
to write
so
it in his favor, and
he's
he
not
hasn't
gonna-
done it.
And he
He's
hasn't
gonna
done
lose
that,
some
right?
money
And he's
there.
not likely to
Actually,
if he's
I-
not done it at this point.
I don't know.
So
The thing I
but-
did read was that she's likely to settle the divorce by stating that her shares stay in the fortune to avoid the company losing stock share because it's just a hit to her directly anyway.
Well, yeah, she's just going to take a payout for the rest of her life.
Yeah, she's just going to take her paycheck and
Yeah.
the billions will stay
the
where they're at.
billions still stay.
That's in her. I mean, they're,
Well,
right now
when I
there's
say
lawyers
my
going.
extent of
"All
using
right."
Amazon is pretty much Amazon Prime, the music and the
Video.
video, the
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm
Right,
not
but he
on
owns a
Amazon
rocket
every
company
day.
as
Oh,
well.
look, there's a
Yes, he does.
cord
he's a
from China that I can
competitor
buy
to
for
Elon
5
Musk in almost
cents.
everything.
Yeah, he is a competitor to Musk. I don't think he's near on the level of SpaceX, is he, with his?
No.
And he's also talked about launching satellites with internet, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But I'm sure his won't be as cheap as Elon's for access service purposes, unless it's to make it
No.
so Amazon's freely available.
Elon will put them out so that people
There
with
you
no
go.
money can have them. He'll
Right.
put them out so that people with money can, this is the alternative.
And I mean,
Tired
I'll
of
give
Bell.
not that it will
Yeah.
matter to anybody, and not that the people that we're talking about will ever see it, but I'll give Warren Buffett credit for where he's at too. I mean, that guy's very wise, very smart. He literally became a billionaire because he liked to play the game. He's openly admitted that, and I can respect that. His video game of choice was the stock market.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he knew how
There
to
you go.
play that very, very well. He's given out so much advice freely, openly about how to make money on the stock market that it's ridiculous. If you go listen to him, if you have the money to start with, you could play and you'd probably be successful. I mean, he tells you all the things not to do, and the same things that he tells you not to do are the ones that you always hear people like, well, he bought stock in that in hopes that in a year's time it would turn over to double and he lost his money.
Yeah.
That's counter. Warren Buffett said there's no such thing as a short play. It's a long game. You got to stay in.
Yeah.
If you believe in the product, you buy a product you believe in, and that's it. That's not about which one can rise and get out before it drops. Well, don't do that. And that's you always hear people losing their money on that stuff. But if you just pick a product that's legit and follow it, something you're passionate about, if you're big into video game systems, you could buy into Nintendo or Sony Entertainment or Microsoft Xbox or whatever, buy into their shares, their public shares.
And wait for that.
And wait, and just live it out because you believe in the product they're building.
Yeah.
And if they do something where you don't believe in the product, you get out. That was his theory. But he's going to be the philanthropist way of Bill and Melinda as well, where he's going to give away a majority of his stuff to charities and benefits.
Okay, so I have a question on that. They're giving it away to charities. It's a blank term.
They're usually big ones.
I was going to say they're picking. All right, it's going to the Red Cross. It's going to. I don't know. I can't think of anything else because I don't have money
I know
to donate.
Bill and Melinda donate a lot to research for disease control.
Yeah,
and
stuff
things
like that. So it's going to go to legitimate places where those institutions are going to be like, thank goodness, now we can save a bunch more people.
Right.
As opposed to leaving it for somebody else later on to go, we're giving it away to some charities. There's one called Brent's Wallet. We're going to give them a couple of $1 million. What do? They look after kids. Yep. Yeah, a couple of them.
He's got 2 of his own.
All right, so I think we've agreed that there are good and bad billionaires, right? But I dare say the level of bad outweighs the good.
Yeah, well, I was going through that Forbes list, I didn't make it to the end of the list. I was at 700 position, and they were still at $3 billion. So there's probably 1,000 at least billionaires in the world, and we know of 2, 3 that are good.
Yeah. Maybe we just don't know the
all
other.
through that list. There were some pretty scuzz bags in it.
Right.
But again, the guy. Okay, so how much does Jeff Bezos? He's the top.
He's the top.
He has how many?
Over 100 billion.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
So now we drop down to halfway through the list, wherever we get to somebody that's got
10.
10 billion. He's not high enough on the list for us to hear about. 10 billion.
He could be at $10 billion.
Yeah, he could be one of these guys that has $10 billion. That's what his net worth is.
Because he sold an internet company.
Right, but he donates to his local soup kitchen. He could be doing as much good as he can afford.
At $10 billion, I dare say there's nothing he can't afford.
Well, no, okay, you're right. But he may be doing good, but the reason we don't hear about it is because he doesn't have enough billions to be up there. Like Bill and Melinda Gates. No.
I love the thought, not enough billions.
Not enough. No. Not enough billions to donate. He doesn't have enough billions to be talked
Recognized.
about. Recognized. People don't know who Jeff Smith is, who has $10 billion because he sold a tech
How
company or whatever.
big do you think you have to go
what was
to
his
be
tech
noticed?
company?
I
Right?
dare say if he gave $1 billion to anything, it's going to get noticed.
What was his tech company? It's Jeff Smith.
I don't know, I just made him up.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, this guy is completely unknown.
Right.
We don't know how he goes 10 billion. Yes, 10 billion is enough money for him to donate $1 billion to something. I'm not entirely sure in the world we live in right now. I don't know that donating $1 billion would make you newsworthy,
Maybe.
because there's so much other shit that we're slogging through in the news with everything else that's going on in the world. You donate $1 billion, and the news agencies go, okay, whatever. Who's this jackass? Jeff Smith?
If you donate $1 billion to United Assholes, we'll fucking
what's he
get your
worth
name out
anyway?
there.
He's worth 10 billion. Who gives a shit? I don't care what. Yeah.
Well, no, if it bleeds,
Okay.
it leads, right? That's the classic
Exactly. Yeah.
saying. Right.
Yeah. Run it if we have nothing else. That's fine. He donated to some animal shelter or something and saved a bunch of dogs, and then he's got his own soup kitchen where people eat for free. That's warm and
Are we
fuzzy
talking about
shit.
Jeff Smith?
Yeah, Jeff Smith. Exactly. He's a philanthropist. Has $10 billion.
$10 billion.
And he donated $1 billion.
He's
of it
got the
last
No
year.
Name Company.
Yeah.
The no
Jeffy and Jimmy Smith.
Black Label.
He's number 75, and Jimmy, his younger brother, is number 76.
Brown brand.
Who runs around going, I'm number 76 on Forbes Top 500?
There you go. Exactly.
That really gets
I
you over
would
with
if I
the
was.
chicks. Yeah, really.
No.
But I wouldn't stay there very long either.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, really. I'm a billionaire. Do you know anything about billionaires? I'm the 717th one in the world. That'd be like saying, I'm a boxer. You know much about boxing? No. I'm the heavyweight champion of the world.
All right, I'm going to start over here. I'm going to ask the question. If you had, A, what's the right amount? And if you had it, what would you do with it? So, $1 billion, 100 million, what?
What's the right amount for me just to have personally?
Yeah, what would make you like, this is it, this is the golden era, I don't need to worry about anything, I get to do all the things I want.
Oh, I don't need to worry about, okay, so fuck you money.
Essentially.
Oh, man.
Okay.
The fuck you money is really low.
If you have $1 billion, does it become fuck me money?
No, fuck you money is basically,
You can do whatever you
I
want.
can afford to do whatever I want
Yeah.
to. I haven't liked you for years. I now have $1 billion. There's my number, $1 billion. So you know what? I've not tippy-toed around you. I've hated you forever. You picked on me in school. Now I have $1 billion. Now I'm going to buy your house. Oh, okay. And I'm going to burn it to the ground. And
That's very malicious.
At $1 billion, I'm guessing you wouldn't just buy their house, you'd buy the company that they work
Revenge.
and fire them. Yeah. I'd have to sit down and get creative.
for. Not fucking you, I'm fucking your entire community.
Funny how you guys go immediately like on the
Dark side
dark side of the moon.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's amazing. So $1 billion's your number. What's your number, Ryan?
Back to the question, I guess. Enough is probably around 10 million. And I get that number from Bill as well, but it would be in the low tens of millions would be enough for me to retire and do whatever the hell I wanted to for the rest of my life.
What's your fuck you money though?
Probably closer at 50 million. I would live the way I wanted to live and never think about it again.
Yeah, there you go.
And these guys have so much more than that.
Oh, it's insanely more.
Well, there's a reason they talk about the 1%. I mean, that's like the majority of the world's money is owned by 1% of the population. And then there's people that don't know where they're going to sleep tonight.
What's your dollar value? What would you do?
Probably 50 million. I could live off the interest every year on 50 million. I would create something. I would have to have something where I still got up every morning and went somewhere and did something. I mean, even if it was like, you know, the next time we get together and do an episode, hey guys, I got 50 million. I rented some office space. There's 4 desks in it, one for each of us. And here's your key, here's your key, here's your key. Come hang out or whatever.
Do we work for you at this point?
No.
Asshole.
Now, if you want mine, here's mine. I would want $2 billion.
$2 billion. Okay. What are you doing with the first billion? Because I know where this is going.
$1 billion goes into a very safe investment fund that might generate 3 to 5%.
Okay.
Based on what I think requires it, that will get split amongst charities, local community groups, and resources for education, betterment of the community, etc. And even down to the point of maybe even sponsoring roadways if I have to, because I'm tired of my car getting busted to shit.
Well,
and with that kind of money coming in, you could afford to pave a couple of streets. You could put a really nice gym or music room at a school. You could fund whatever, much like some local families here that do very well for this community.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple that, specifically in Woodstock, that really do some nice things, and I think they get ignored for it a lot. With the second $1 billion, I would try to make my third. Because that would be the game I would want to play. But I would also take some of that and invest enough that I could hire the people that I wanted, either for my own entertainment or because I think they're going to be really good at doing something.
And
I think you know what I'm
really
talking
think you need $1 billion to do that?
Yeah.
You don't think you could do the exact same thing with 50 million?
No.
No?
No, because you'd have to put up with like me coming in. I bought 52 Mr. Potato Heads today.
How I would make $1 billion off of $1 billion is I would take that $1 billion and invest in something that wanted all the other people with billions of dollars to go to. I'm not thinking about the average Joe.
Fight Club?
Okay, let me rephrase
So
the
you're
question.
going to cater to the 1%.
Do you think
take
the
their
game
money.
is different at $1 billion than it is at 100 million?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not the same game, just played with bigger players.
No, I think it's way different at that level. I don't know why. I mean, I'm just pipe dreaming, but I think it's way different when you get up at that level. I think it's literally one of those things. You can own a Ferrari 458, right?
Sure.
Italia, a really nice car. It's about $350,000 to $450,000, depending on the shape and quality of it currently, because they now have different models out for that. You can have one of those, and that puts you in a class of people. Don't get me wrong. You are considered an elevated class, and showing that car off at any event or going out somewhere in it and driving it around says something about your wealth and your place in the world. But if you own a LaFerrari, that's a different ball of wax.
Right.
To get a LaFerrari, you had to have owned 10 Ferraris and currently have 2 in your garage.
Right.
Before you can buy that car. So the level that you have to be to get there, it's like that article about buying
If you're not telling me it's a different game, you're just playing the same game on a different level.
Agreed, but then the deals of the business opportunities and the access to certain things gains with that money. You're no longer just dealing in corporate level stuff. You're starting to deal at government level.
Oh, big time.
Right? So that's where the game changes. Is now you're I mean, openly in the US right now, you're able to almost write laws when you have that kind of cash to allow your industry to thrive.
True.
So in the sense that what I would like to do is example. I mean, again, pipe dream right off the top of my head. I want to buy an island in the Bahamas, 40, 50 acre island. And maybe that belongs to a national entity right now. And I need to buy that island. In order to even get FaceTime with the boss, so to speak, of whoever that is, hundreds of millions probably won't cut it. Because I'm dealing down at the cartel level at that point. Right? So I got to move up to a point where I can garner the attention of that guy to buy that island. That's where the games change. Then once I own that island, I can do what I want with it. I can build that resort that only people capable of paying $10,000 a day will show up, and I can provide a service that's worth $10,000 a day, along with all the amenities they require, along with the
security.
Everything's required to pull that off, to make it so that's where they want to be.
See, and that's why I need $1 billion so I can go stay at his resort.
Fuck that, I'm just driving his car.
I told you I'd hire people.
Actually, you know what I would do with the money? I go to the guy that owns Days of Wine and Vinyl in Nova Scotia in Halifax, and I will say, I want your name. How much? And I will take that name and I will open up a small speakeasy or whatever, a place where my friends could come and hang out. And that's what the play, because I always love that name, Days of Wine and Vinyl.
So just open one up.
Well.
You don't need to buy his name. He can't afford to sue you at that point. Seriously,
I suppose with that money I could keep him in court, right?
You keep him in court until you bankrupt him, and then you'd own the name anyway.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that.
Money changes people, my friend.
Maybe it changes at $1 billion from not what would you do, but who would you do?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they always say that a person is only as faithful as their options. Yeah. It's kind of like one of those things. I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to be fucking, but I'll tell you who I won't be fucking.